With universities going paperless, it's more important than ever to know how to create, organize, and design your digital notes in an efficient and digestible manner. So today, I'm going to be going through the step-by-step process of how I make my notes and how that led me to rank in the top 5% at university. Hey guys, if you're new here, my name is Obada and I'm a fourth year medical student studying in London. On this channel, I'll talk about the best strategies and ways of leading a more productive and efficient life. So I broke things down into 5 simple sections: organization, my software of choice, my writing technique, my step-by-step process of how I actually do my notes, and then the iCloud storage. First, we're going to be talking about organizing your modules. It's crucial that you organize all your notes from the beginning. Otherwise, by the end of the year, things will get so messy and you lose track of them, and that's going to be really detrimental when it comes to your exams. So start off by creating folders for each module, and after that it depends on what degree you're undertaking. For me, I add a folder for placements, one for portfolio, past papers, books, and other things. Now within each module, I download the lectures in PDF format, and then I name them and number them and organize them and sort them from A to Z. To keep track of things, I create a table on Word, Microsoft. You could use Excel as well, and this table consists of columns and rows with the names of all of the lectures that I'm going to be doing this year, separated by module, and then I tick them off as I do them, and this helps me keep track of my progress to see what I've done and how many times I've done it. In terms of downloading the lectures, I download them in PDF format, you'll find out why later, and I put them in the designated folder. As for lecture capture, if you don't know what that is, it's a recording of the lecture at your university. I download them using Chrome. I've got a little trick that I know, and if you're interested, just leave it in the comments below. I'll make a quick YouTube short video maybe, or TikTok, just to show you how to do that. If you're using Microsoft Teams, Zoom, or it's online recorded, what you could do is, probably there's no need to download it, just watch it online. The benefit of downloading it for me was that I could access it offline without the dependence on internet, and I could be anywhere around the world. I could just access the lecture capture on demand. So the next section is software of choice. Now that you've done organizing your notes, I'm going to talk about the softwares that are required to view your PDFs, edit them, and create notes. Now I use PDF Expert as my sole PDF editor and viewer. For note taking, I use Microsoft Word purely because of its ease of use, compatibility, and powerful capabilities. Because it's compatible with Windows and Mac, this makes it very easy to share files with people with different operating systems. As much as I love note-taking apps such as Notion, Craft, or Pages on the Mac, when it comes to capabilities, there is literally no comparison when compared to Word Microsoft. Now, if you ended up downloading your video lectures, I recommend downloading the software called VLC. It's a very simple and easy to use software to view your lecture captures, and you could control the speed, so you could watch it at 1.5 or 2 times speed, or really as much as you want. And if you didn't download them and you're using Zoom or Microsoft Teams, as I said, you could just watch it online on demand whenever you want. Just a quick little side note, if you're into different forms of note taking such as mind maps, I'd recommend using Minder or Mind Manager, or maybe you're into flashcards, I'd highly recommend using Quizlet. If you want to see more about the best Mac apps for students, I've got a very popular video that I made a while back, and you can check it up here or here, and you could also read up on it in my new blog that I recently launched a few days ago called medfluence.ghost.io. I'll also leave that in the link in the description below. The next section is my writing or my note taking technique. When it comes to note taking, this is where my creativity really comes into play. Now I'm going to be using a lot of examples in relation to my medicine degree, but you could easily tailor that to whatever degree you're doing. Starting off with a font, I'd recommend something easy on the eyes, clean and minimal. I personally use Calibri Light. This works very good, and it makes your notes actually look more concise, which can help psychologically to give you the illusion that your notes are much smaller, which motivates you more to actually learn and memorize them. I also use a structure throughout my notes. For example, I use bold for headings and subheadings. I use italics for things like diseases, and I underline any important words or phrases. This may sound trivial, but if you follow that systematic kind of formula throughout all of your lectures, it really does help you memorize them. When it comes to text color, one color in particular that I use a lot is red, and I use that for numbers and values such as pH or maybe an incidence rate for a disease. This helps the numbers pop out when I'm trying to see them and helps me focus on them if I'm trying to remember values and digits. You have to use those structures throughout all of your notes from the first module all the way to the end. Now when it comes to highlighting, I rank the colors based on importance, starting from the least important, yellow, then orange, then red, then pink. I also use bright green for things such as medications or treatments, or orange for things such as diseases like Marfan syndrome. Now you can play around with these colors and see what suits you best, as long as you designate and assign a particular color for a particular thing and stick through that throughout all of your notes. Lastly, when it comes to font size, I'd recommend something big enough that you can read it, but also small enough that makes your notes look small and concise, motivating you to read them and memorize them. I'd recommend 11 or 12, and that shouldn't be a problem, especially the fact that these are digital notes, which means if you can't read it, you can still zoom in. Now for the next section is the step-by-step process of how I go about to actually learn my notes. For step 2, I'll open the PDFs using PDF Expert. I'll look up any words that I still don't understand using Google. I'll highlight any words or phrases or diseases that I need to highlight, add any extra sticky notes that I may need to add any images or diagrams to help explain things further. The goal here is to really fully understand the lecture. For step 3, this is where you really test your memorization skills. By this point, you understand the content really well, and a lot of it, or a big chunk of it, you'd have already memorized just by heart automatically. So all you're doing is sitting down and just trying to memorize as much of it as possible. Now once you've done step 3 with all of the lectures, you start step 4 with the first lecture. This is where you create a Word document to summarize the entire lecture in a few pages. You apply all the memory boost rules that I talked about, such as highlighting, the colors, the fonts, and the font size. Now step 5 is quite crucial. This is continuous all the way to your exam day. What you're doing is you're basically just rememorizing, and as you go through the notes, any parts of it that you memorized by heart and are basically second nature and quite easy for you, you remove them. This helps you cut down on the notes, make it even more concise so that you only focus on what you usually forget and is quite difficult for you. It's important to realize that through this whole process, I only watch the lecture capture for each lecture only once. Now the final section is cloud storage. Now when it comes to cloud storage, it's really important that you have access to your final notes online, both for backup and for easy access for remote studying, which has really become the norm these days. Now to keep it simple, I use Dropbox, Box, or iCloud files for easy file sharing and storage. This means you can easily and quickly access all of your PDF lectures and notes. Now when it comes to Word documents in particular, you could easily turn automatic saving on, which saves it to your OneDrive. Now all of these iCloud storages have free plan with a limited storage. You could either pay a premium, or if you use different ones for different modules, you should easily have plenty of storage to cover all of your notes for free. Thank you guys for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a thumbs up and click on the subscribe button. If you got any suggestions for any videos or any other ideas, just leave it in the comments below. I'll be sure to check it out. And as I said, I made a new blog, so if you're interested in just written form content, you could check it out in the description below as well. And I'll see you guys in the next one.